Hello. First of all, you'll have to excuse my voice. I am not feeling the greatest. The few days before Christmas, and I have got to do a lot of baking. Every year I prepare cookie boxes for my family. It doesn't stop if I get sick. It is beyond Christmas by the time you're seeing this, but I thought, you know, cookies are good all year round. Might as well just share. Over the next few days, I'm gonna be doing some baking, hopefully a lot of prepping so I don't have to do too much on Christmas Eve, which is when I like to do the bulk of the baking because I want everything to be as fresh as possible. So last night I made a couple of batches of my chocolate chip cookies. I won't bother you with showing that again because I've made them multiple times here. I'll link the video down below where I do the whole thing, but I've got a few trays of these in the freezer. Just freeze them, put them in a bag, bake them off from frozen. I really prefer them from frozen, but I bake them at 350 for like 12 to 13 minutes. Perfect every time. This is Bon Appetit's BA's best chocolate chip cookie recipe. It is the only one I use. It is so good. So these are living in the freezer. On to the next. I am so annoyed with myself. I completely spaced and forgot to turn on the camera, but I'll explain it to you. I just made fudge, some butterscotch fudge. One of my old managers got this from his wife, who got this from one of those like church cookbooks from her hometown. I don't know what it's called. I'm just gonna call it Jeremy's fudge. The recipe that I have is a like mixture of chocolate and then butterscotch, but I just made the whole thing butterscotch. 3 cups of chips, a can of the Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk. Pop it into the microwave. I couldn't get mine fully smooth, so she's gonna be like a chunky fudge. It's all good. It's just chunks of chips. I sprayed some foil. This is just an 8x8. Poured the melted fudge mixture into here. I topped it with a little bit of flaky salt because obviously. And this is just gonna cool for a second out at room temperature. Then I'm gonna pop it in the fridge where I'll chop it up later, throw it into the boxes. So Jeremy's fudge, I just logged off of my computer. I am done for the next few days. I'm still not feeling great, so excuse my voice. I sound like a man. Ooh, the lights. My camera seems to have astigmatism tonight. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. I have a lot to do, so I'm gonna get right into it. Now I'm making Christmas crack. One of the most requested things in the cookie box is Christmas crack. So my oven is preheating at 350 Fahrenheit. Sheet tray. I am using parchment paper today. Make sure if you're using tinfoil, spray it so well because this will stick to it and you will have the worst time of your life. But I wanted to try parchment paper because I feel like it'll be a lot easier. I've got my brown sugar and my butter melting in this pot. I'm just gonna let it boil for a few minutes and then we're gonna pour it over the saltines. It's bubbling away. I'm going to, as evenly as I can, it'll spread out in the oven, but I like to try and just make it even-ish right now. Just spread over the saltines. I'm gonna put this into the oven just for a few minutes until you start to see it bubbling. Then it is ready to come out. Just watch it, you don't burn it. While that is in the oven, it is time to get my sprinkles ready. Christmas crack, and I like to match my sprinkles with the holiday. So Christmas, I have red, green, I have some gold like jimmies. I guess they're called sprinkles, but whatever, same thing. And I have gold sanding sugar, so it'll be fun. And I know these are saltines, but you really have to have a flaky sea salt on the top of them as well. Like, it just isn't crack without it. She's bubbling right from the heat. I'm just gonna sprinkle an even layer of chocolate chips. I'm using milk. You can use dark or semi-sweet. I don't know how white would melt, but you could try it. And a lot of people put this tray back in the oven, but I find that it like makes a weird texture with the chocolate, so I keep it out and I don't touch the chips. They'll start to melt and then we can spread it. I think I'm good. They all look pretty soft, so I'm just going to spread the chocolate evenly. Oh, this is my favorite part. Look at that. You can literally bathe in this right now. Then just sprinkle it up. I'm going to let this cool, and then I pop it in the freezer for at least a few hours, but in my case, it'll probably be overnight. And then in the morning when I start to assemble the boxes, I just take it apart. You can break it apart. I like to just cut them into squares. All good. Now I'm gonna candy some nuts. These are just whole halved pecans, brown sugar, granulated sugar, some cinnamon. That is all the recipe calls for. Actually, it calls for cayenne as well, but I am not using cayenne. But I am going to add some cardamom and a little bit of allspice and some kosher salt. Combine all this together. 1 egg white. I'll whisk it real quick, just a little frothy. My little frothy egg white mixture goes into my pecans. Just toss them, and this is gonna go in. I like to do it in 2 batches. Sheet tray, parchment paper, up into an even layer. My oven is preheated to 350. I'm gonna cook these for like 20-ish minutes. Then I'm gonna take them out and like zhuzh them up and cook them for another 20 minutes. Now I have to regroup, reset the kitchen, do the dishes for sure. I need to eat something before I absolutely pass out and die, and then we can make something else. Last thing for tonight, I'm going to make some of those date Snickers. I made these last year for the cookie box and they went over very well. So I'm gonna do them again. This time, instead of like sprinkling peanuts on top, I think I'm gonna do date, peanut butter, a pretzel, chocolate, sea salt. So now we can pit our million dates. Here's the little date. These have pits in them that you have to I just score the skin, pull it open, and you just take it right out. You don't wanna eat that. And what I wanna do is kind of like lay them flat a little bit. I'm gonna put them on this piece of parchment here, and I'm gonna just kind of press them a little bit, and I might just give them a good like roll to flatten them out even more. And on some of them, after you get that pit out, some of them have this like little hard cap on the end. Just make sure you take that off as well. Okay. Peanut butter. I just warmed some peanut butter up. I'm using smooth because I'm not a monster, but if you want to use chunky, I guess that's your prerogative. Just a little scoopful right on top. I'd say maybe a teaspoon or so, I guess, depending on how big the date is. You don't want to overwhelm it. And then on goes a little pretzel. This is kind of like those, what are they called? Are they the fast break? Which one's the one with the pretzel? Or a take 5, something like that. I'm going to put these in the fridge. I want them to set up a little more before I put the chocolate on, but there's the base to my little date Snickers. Well, today did not go as I planned. It is Christmas Eve and had some pet emergencies happen, so I had to take care of things, which means I had very little time for baking. So that's not ideal. Of course, everyone is okay for now, so I'm very, very grateful for that. It's being Christmas Eve. My cookie boxes suffered just a little bit, but that's okay. And I'm still not feeling great, as you can probably hear. In between everything going on today, I baked off my ginger molasses cookies. I didn't film it because I just couldn't with everything going on. And I just baked off all of my chocolate chip. See if I can... I do have a video on the ginger molasses. I'll link it down below. Such good cookies. I'm gonna bring you back and we're just gonna fill the boxes, and put them by the door so that tomorrow morning, bright and early, Christmas morning, I can go to my parents' house. So let's see what we got. I got these cute little containers from the dollar store with like, look at these tops with the scalloped edges. I love it. The Christmas crack. So I'll put some of that down here. Look how delicious this stuff came out. Oh, this is so good. I've been stress eating it all day. Some ginger molasses. These are always a big hit. And we're gonna do some chocolate chips. I'm gonna put the candied pecans in a bag. Just, you know, you never know with nuts and people. These came out so yummy and crispy. These are my cutie little Snickers date things. I just melted some chocolate and I popped that on top, just a little sea salt. My butterscotch fudge, just sprinkle that in there. And that's that. I'm going to throw these on top. There's my cookie box. There we go. I gotta pack up the rest of them. We are all packed up, all 7 boxes, ready to go tomorrow for Christmas. Sorry this video kind of took a turn, but I hope you enjoyed it. You don't just have to make these for Christmas. Of course, cookies are good all year round, so take these recipes and make them. I know you'll love them. My family sure does. And I hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope you have a happy new year. I'll see you in the next one.